Okay, so I got cut off last time, so I'm going to see if I can finish up the notes here. So if I know the zeros are at 3, -4, and -1, and I want to write the factors, I'm going to unzip it. So I always talk about zip. This time we're going to unzip, add 4, add 1. Okay, so these are your factors. Factors create zeros, but you can also create factors from zeros. Okay, so now in order to create the equation, I'm going to multiply all these together. So we're kind of working backwards. Normally, you would factor it, and then you would zero product property, and then you would solve, and we're doing the opposite operation. So I'm going to multiply together the first two terms, distribute, combine like terms. That's going to give me x squared plus x minus 12. And then I'm going to multiply that by x plus 1. And I'm going to use the box. You use whatever method you want. Okay, so I'm going to have x squared, x minus 12, and x plus 1. And it doesn't matter what's on the top and what's on the bottom. Makes no difference. Okay, and if you've done it right, your diagonals will match. So in order, x cubed plus 2x squared minus 11x minus 12, and that is the function. Now, here's the deal. You know the zeros are at 3, -4, and -1. So I could take any one of those numbers. Let's just do 3. And I could do my synthetic division. And I should get 0 for the remainder. 1 times 3 is 3. Add, you get 5. Multiply, you get 15. Add, you get 4. Multiply, you get 12. Add, you get 0. That's a good sign we've done it correctly. Okay, last thing, and that is called multiplicity. So there's a lot going on here. You have end behavior, which determines, up, up, down, down. Is it even? Is it odd? Is the coefficient positive? Is the coefficient negative? Well, multiplicity is also going to help us graph, and it's the number of times a factor occurs. Okay, so for right now, it's not going to make a ton of sense until we actually do a graph. If a multiplicity is odd, we cross at the 0. 0, root, x-intercept all mean the same thing. And if it's even, we're going to bounce. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. So if I give you this function, x plus 7 squared is the same thing as x plus 7 times x plus 7. I really don't want to multiply that out, but I'm not going to. There's going to be shortcuts. And then you've got x minus 4 3 times. Well, there's not even enough room for me to write it 3 times. So to solve this, to find the zeros, you would say x plus 7 equals 0, and you would have that twice. Well, instead of writing it twice, we say that the 0 is at -7, and we say it has a multiplicity of 2 because the 0 occurs twice. Once, twice. If I take 2x plus 1 and I set that equal to 0, subtract 1, divide by 2, that has a multiplicity of 1. And then you've got x minus 4 3 times. Well, the shortcut is to look at the individual degree of the factor. So the individual degree right there is 3. So it's going to be x, the 0 is going to be at 4. Its multiplicity is going to be 3. Okay, even multiplicity bounces. So 2 is even, that's going to bounce. Odd multiplicity crosses. Okay. This next one, I have to factor it first before I can find the zeros. So I'm going to factor it with a GCF of x squared. And that's going to leave me with x squared minus 2x minus 8. Find the zero, set it equal to 0. Okay. Do your diamond. I'm going to skip the diamond. I think that hopefully we can start skipping the diamond soon. And I'm going to set it equal to 0. X squared equals 0. X minus 4 equals 0. X plus 2 equals 0. So we're going to get x equals 0 with the multiplicity of 2, because it's squared. Add 4. 0 is going to be 4 with a multiplicity of 1. And then subtract 2. And the multiplicity is going to be 1. So the effect is going to be bounce, even bounces, odd crosses. So, okay, like what does all of this mean? Okay, so here's what I'm going to do. What does this mean? To bounce off of a graph. Okay, so you've got some x-intercept. Let's just look at this, the last one that we just did. We have that there's x-intercepts at 0, 4, and -2. Okay. So a bounce means you're going to come down and you're going to hit the curve. Sorry. I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time. You're going to either come up from the bottom and you're going to hit the graph and you're going to bounce right off it and go back down. Or you can come down from the top, hit the 0, and bounce back off. So that's what bouncing looks like. You come up, boing, and go back down. That's what bouncing looks like. Crossing is the reverse. If you come from underneath, you're going to cross right over. It's like crossing the street. You're on the other side. You go from being below the x-axis to above the x-axis, or vice versa. Maybe you're coming down from the top and you cross over. So right here would be the 0. That's considered crossing. You go from one axis to another, or you go from from y being negative to y being positive, or vice versa. Okay, so I know it's a lot, and I understand if you're like, there's a lot to remember, and you might be a little bit confused, and I get that, and hopefully I'll be back at school on Friday and we can go over everything.